Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Book Corner. Okay, I know it's been a long time since I've done one of these, so I'm going to give you a quick update on what I'm reading. I am reading The Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon, and this is the fourth book in a series about a woman from post-World War II England who gets transported back in time to Scotland right before Culloden's Field battle, which was with Start and the Jacobites. So it's a really good series. I highly recommend it. But it's a big book, so this poses a question. What do I read after I'm done with this book? And this is a question I know a lot of people who read books like I do have, because you always want to kind of vary what you're going to read. You don't want to be stuck in a rut reading the same thing again and again and again. But you also don't want to change it up too much or be too sudden about what you read. So, today I'm going to discuss what to read next. So, this is kind of not, I wouldn't classify this as sci-fi even though it has time travel. It's a slight romance, but more of a fantasy adventure, but historical drama book. So, after this, I write a small sampling of the books I have yet to read. I have about 34 books still to read. So it's kind of a decision figuring out what to read next. But say you've read a book like the one I'm reading, you want to find something to read next. So you kind of want to stay away from maybe a little bit of adventure. Just kind of calm down because it is a big book with a lot of adventure in it. So maybe read something like Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. It's a play, it just kind of immerses you in a world, everything is resolved, unlike a series like this is, so it's just a nice simple read, kind of a break from reading a series or something, so it's kind of nice to shake it up. But say you're in the middle of a series, but you've got a bunch of other books you still need to read, but you just finished the next book and you have to know what goes next, by all means continue reading the series. That's what I am doing with The Six Sacred Stones, which came after The Seven Deadly Wonders by Matthew Riley. These books are fantastically written. They have a combination of all the different mythologies, and it's a really good read. Like, you wouldn't think an action with history would read so well, but definitely a very good read. But say you just finished like this really intense classic, and your brain's kind of hurting from maybe prose or just like all the deep thoughts, then it is completely acceptable to take a break and read a young adult book. And this is Hunter by Michael Carroll, and it's part of a Superhuman series, so this is also part of a series. I've been waiting for this book forever. As you can see, I even bought it in hardback. I splurged on this one. So by all means, feel free to take a break if you've been reading a super intense classic or a really adult book. Like, sometimes your brain just needs to relax, what I like to call brain candy is these books. But say you've been reading something kind of light and fluffy or a lot of short books, then by all means add in a thick book to keep you nice and attentive for a while. If you're going on a long trip and you just finished a short book, take a long book. It's always better. You can always go back to it. And this book is We the Drowned by Kirsten Jensen, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book, but I probably won't read it for a while just because it's a thick book. I'm finishing reading a thick book. It's kind of intense. I'm probably going to end up reading a book from a series, but definitely, it sounds really good. I'm really looking forward to reading it. And I mean, say you've read something like that, again, totally acceptable to just read like nice little adult brain fluff, shall we say. Because then it's still a good read, but it's small, things will be resolved. Sometimes you can tell these books by the big type they use. Sometimes big type doesn't mean anything, but sometimes it's nice to just not have to look so hard at the words. And so, or if you finished a book like Trains and Lovers, which is obviously going to be a feel-good book, you might want something a little action, a little excitement. Then if you're interested in history at all, or World War II, you can read period dramas about spies. And this is, I'm actually really looking forward to reading this because it was written by a man who was actually a spy for Churchill in Nazi Germany. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I kind of like books set in this time period, but I've loved spy books my whole life, so just like if you want to shake it up, and sometimes if you want to stay in the spy genre after you've read a spy book, it's completely okay. I would just maybe shake up time periods of spies, because staying in the same time period can just be like a little draining, and you kind of learn to expect what the author's going to do, so maybe shake up the time period, like this book, which is Robert Ludlum's The Aries Decision. And Robert Ludlum is dead, which was, it's really hard, and I wish he wasn't, but this is a Covert One novel written by other people. He started the series, so other people are just finishing it. And so, but if you're going to keep reading a spy book, I definitely say shake up time period and location, just to kind of keep it fresh. That way you don't always get too good at predicting what the author's going to do or calling a plot twist. And if you want just a nice fun book, I definitely recommend any of the Irish country books. They're just fun to read, the characters are super lovable and relatable, and it's a great book to take to a beach. So I hope that helped with figuring out what to read next. It's always a really big decision, figuring out what to read next. It's always the hardest part of finishing a book, for me at least. So tune in next time where we'll discuss another topic of books. Feel free to comment with ideas, a book you maybe think I should read next, a suggestion of book you maybe want me to review, and just like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys again. See ya.